Hi, I'm Ben. Welcome to my book corner. It's been a while since we've been on camera properly. Not sure when the next time will be, but I've been buying a fair few books, and I thought I would share my haul from this month so far. Don't intend to buy any more. Famous last words, but we've got a fair few books to talk about here. I'm going to start off with the only non-fiction book that I picked up in the last month, and that is Trading Game by Gary Stevenson. So Gary Stevenson does have their own YouTube channel, and they're a former city trader from London. And this very much, from what I understand, constitutes his rise in economic circles, and specifically around trading and what that looks like. And his own experience being somebody who isn't from the normal class that fall into that, very much a working class background. Been very outspoken on what he feels that the government should be doing right now in terms of the economy and stuff like that. And at a time where everything seems to be stalling a fair bit, I think it's going to be quite an interesting read. This is going to be a buddy read that I'm doing with the amazing Margaret Pennard. Link to her channel down below. I believe we're doing it next month in June. It's been a while since I've read any non-fiction, so it's going to be interesting. And then we're into my normal sort of books. So, how to do this? Let's start with Dying of the Light by George R.R. Martin. Obviously better known for Game of Thrones. I have heard this is very, very good, however. Dirk Talarian has been summoned back to Wallorn, and a love he thinks he lost. But Wallorn is a dying world, and Gwen Delvano is no longer the woman he once knew. She's bound to another man, a barbarian, and needs Dirk's protection. He will do anything to keep her safe, but an impenetrable veil of secrecy surrounds them all, making allies indistinguishable from enemies in this dangerous triangle. One is hurtling towards escape, the other towards revenge, and the last toward a brutal, untimely demise. I picked this up in HMV, a store that historically has been a music store here in the UK, but they have started doing a load of books. This was on a 2 for £9 offer, which, you can't go wrong for that. The other book that I picked up from there was actually not for me. It was for my youngest, who wanted to read one of the Five Nights at Freddy's books. So there we go. That's where that went. Then I wandered into the works, which, always cost me a fair amount of money. The first thing I picked up was The Bones Beneath My Skin by T.J. Klune, and pretty edges. They're just solid colour on top and bottom, but that's pretty. I have a fair few T.J. Klune books, not read any of them yet. I just keep buying them. My name is Artemis Darth Vader. Are we going on an adventure? That grabs me straight away. I'm an 80s kid. Why wouldn't it? In the spring of 1995, Nate Cartwright is at a loose end. His parents are dead, his older brother has disowned him, and he's been fired from his job. Looking for a sense of direction, he returns to his family's summer cabin in Oregon. The cabin should be empty, but it's not. Inside is a man named Alex, and an extraordinary little girl who calls herself Artemis Darth Vader. There's far more to art than meets the eye. But as Nate and Alex bond over just how special she truly is, they discover that powerful forces are closing in. Forces that want nothing more than to control her. So, I will probably read that before I read any of the other books that I've got by Klune. But, yeah, there's that one. And then, speaking of books where I haven't read the author yet, we have Cursebound by Sarah L. Arifi. Yeah, so this is the follow-up to Feybound, which my friend Noah, linked to his channel down below, insists that I read, and I keep saying I'm going to, and I keep not doing. I'm not going to read the blurb for this one because this is a direct follow-up. This is a book 2, and if you haven't read book 1, I don't want to spoil it. And also, I've not read book 1, so I don't want to spoil it for me. My understanding is that this is a Fey fantasy with some romantic elements involved, at least book 1 is anyway. But rather than being inspired by your typical Western or European inspiration, it has a lot more inspirations from African folklore. So something that I've not read a huge amount of, to be honest. So excited for that one. Then we have another book too, I think. I presume it's a follow-up. The Cat Who Saved the Library. So I love The Cat That Saved Books. I absolutely adore it. I think it's a book for book lovers. And I saw that this was out. Almost walked past it in Waterstones the other day. Luckily, I didn't. As far as Nanami was concerned, there was nothing wrong with the library and a cat combination. It was just that when it came to talking cats, it's a whole different story. I have really high hopes for this. So this is translated by Louise Heel Kawai, which I probably just butchered. I do apologise. I hope this lives up to The Cat That Saved Books. I really, really do, because I love that book. So many quotable moments in that as well, if you haven't read it. Really, really good book. A book for book lovers is how I describe book one, or Cat That Saved Books. I'm hoping this is the same. And on a side point, libraries need saving right now, because, especially here in the UK, there's a bit of an underinvestment going on. So, sticking with cats, I have picked up a manga as well. I picked up a couple of manga, and this one has caught my eye a couple of times. It's Cat Gamer by Wataru Nadatani. Riko, a 29-year-old office worker with an obsession for video games, finds her quiet life upended when she takes in a stray cat. Having no experience with pets, Riko uses lessons drawn from video games to guide her in cat care, while her cute companion tries to understand Riko's behavior and personal obsessions through a cat's world view. Yeah, I've been looking at this for quite a while. And when I went into Waterstones with the intention to buy one book, because I had a £10 voucher, I walked out with 3. This was one of them. Did I walk out with 3? Did I walk out with 4? I feel like I walked out with 4. And one of them isn't. Oh, I walked out with 4. Because I have self-control. The other one I walked out with, and I have already read, and I think is really, really good, is Volume 4 of The Summer Hikaru Died. This continues the sort of horror themes that have ran throughout the series. This is very much a return to form for the series for me personally. I was a little bit disappointed with Volume 3. The way this ends is I need to go and buy the other one, and I probably will before the end of the month. While Hikaru is not the Hikaru he once knew, Yoshiki must admit that this new entity has become a friend in his own right. But his true identity remains a mystery, even to the imposter himself. When their research into the town's history brings them to the library, the boys discover an unsettling clue about the mysterious happenings in the region. Lots of really interesting stuff in here. Lots of things beginning to tie together as well. Once again, the artwork is spectacular as well, especially when it hits those creepy moments. Really, really good. I gave that 4.5 stars, I think. So, up next, this is one that I saw a few weeks ago and didn't pick up, and then it was buy one, get one half price, and another book that I wanted was also on buy one, get one half price, so I thought, why not? Stormbringer by Tig Wallace. So this is a YA fantasy. Emilio's world is divided by the Fault, a canyon separating him from Nemira, the storm-ravaged kingdom on the other side where magic is used freely. When Emilio's storm chaser mother goes missing, he is forced to cross the Fault, joining a mission to locate the source of a Leviathan storm. As magic stirs within him, Emilio must also contend with Paige, a wild card with a thirst for chaos, and Vintane, a criminal with an agenda of his own. The storm chase of a lifetime is underway, and Emilio must unite warring provinces and confront his own destiny before the most powerful storm ever seen destroys them all. I find it really interesting that it does have a try it read page, which is something I haven't seen before. So it suggests going to page 177. and reading that, which I did not do because you can't tell me what to do. But my child did. My middle child, who is 16, did. And their face was interesting, so we'll see how that goes. So that's Stormbringer by Tig Wallace. And then the next one is another book that I've had on my radar since it came out. This is by Eric J. Brown, an author who I have reviewed and read before. The Only Light Left Burning is an example of one of their books. All That's Left in the World, I think, is the title of the other one. It's a dystopian sci-fi love story. Really, really good. But this is something slightly different because this is, I think, more of a mystery / thriller, and that is Better the Devil. So, I've had my eye on this for a few months now. This, again, was part of the buy one, get one half price in Waterstones. Better the devil you don't know. Desperate to escape a family who will never accept him, a queer runaway in police custody borrows the identity of a boy who vanished years ago. Nate Beaumont, but then Nate's family come to take their son home. He's trapped in a web of lies. Then he meets Miles, the cute, clever, and true crime obsessed boy next door, who knows more than it seems. Unexpectedly, Miles agrees to help in exchange for exposing the truth about what happened years ago to his childhood friend. As their investigation turns dangerous, their feelings turn real. Time is running out. They don't know who to trust. And someone is watching who wants to keep this case cold. Will they find the missing boy? Or will they find each other? Interesting, it's will they find or will they find love, which is an interesting way to sort of suggest that that's not going to be a particularly happy ending. And finally, last but not least, and again, this is one that I nearly picked up on release. It's only recently come out. The Book of Fallen Leaves by A.S. Tamaki. And I have seen a lot of positive blurb around this amongst some of the indie authors that I've interacted with. So this is inspired by an ancient samurai saga. The Book of Fallen Leaves is a masterful epic fantasy. So Sen Hoshikari is an exiled prince of a clan that lost everything in his father's failed rebellion. Deprived of his birthright, Sen is determined to restore his family's land and honor at any cost. Ruri is a peasant girl who saved Sen's life on the night his family were put to the sword. But now she is adrift, unsure of her place in the world, not knowing that the gods themselves have plans for her. As civil war throws the empire into chaos, and demons seek vengeance on the living, Sen and Ruri must fight both for their clan and their shared future, but vengeance demands a bloody price. Very excited to start that one. Probably going to be a June read, if I'm completely honest, because I finally got back into reading a little bit after a bit of a slump in April. If you want to know my April wrap-up, I will link it at the top for you. But there we go. That is my physical haul. There are ebooks as well. We don't talk about those. We don't need to know about those ones. And also I picked up Grace by A.M. Shine, which I have a review for that up as well. If you're interested in some folk horror inspired by Irish mythology, I do recommend you check that book out. And my review is on my channel as well, if you are interested in watching it. But that's it from me. It's been a while. I don't know when the next one will be. I'm sure we'll find out soon. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.